I have one last, while Richard moves to the piano, I have one last question for all of you. What would Walt do?
What's the context?
The present.
About the war in Afghanistan or what? What do you want?
As we face the future, if Walt were leading the company today, or if he was forming his own company, or if he was advising any of us, or if he was sitting up here in this chair, what would you suggest that we in the industry do?
Well, you got one there. That's a good question, Bob. How would you answer it?
Bob, here.
I will step into the dangerous spot here. If you think about everything we've told you about Walt that we know and that we have personally observed, if Walt Disney was right here today and he was walking around this convention hall, the very first thing he'd be doing is he had permanent curiosity over everything, especially the stuff he didn't know anything about. A lot of us picked up that same habit. I know today that on Friday night when I have my martini, I look back on Monday and I think, I didn't know all this stuff on Monday. Do you know how much I know now that I didn't know on Monday? That is a permanent disease. I think we got that from Walt. He'd walk around here and all he would see is all this new stuff that might lead someplace. How in the world can I collect enough of it? How in the world can I talk to all these people, ask them some more questions, and get a good dialogue going? Because I can see all kinds of possibilities with the stuff that you don't even know your stuff will actually do. That's about what he'd be doing.
And then he'd mull it all over and come up with something very original that he thought of, that he, using all those techniques that he had absorbed by that time.
Bob, I'm making a speech in Florida in a couple of weeks, and I stole a line from Walt that he laid on Herb Ryman one day. Herbie was working on a new project, and Walt came in and he said, well, I don't really think that's the direction we should be going. And Herbie had been sweating this thing for some time, and he finally, in exasperation, and Walt turned to leave, he said, well, what do you want me to do? And Walt looked at him and he said, well, just do something people will like. And laughed. And I think that's what he would tell everybody. Do something people will like.
I think that one of the things that would be drastically changed, Marty Sklar, Bob Gurr, Harry Burns, and I were all in a luncheon with Bob Iger. And I remember his last comment was, I sure wish the place was as small as it was when Walt had it. So that would be a total different situation.
But that doesn't mean he wouldn't deal with it. I mean,
Oh, no.
The company had grown tremendously, and we were already well into the Walt Disney World project as a development at the time that he died.
He was going to do something.
All right. Well, with that, Richard, would you tell us a little bit about some of the music?
Oh, sure. I thought I'd kind of pretty much stick to things that were written for parks, because Walt was the first creative genius to think of the fact that you wanted perhaps to give a theme song to some attraction, and that was his one of his great. Oh, you can't see me. Well, I'll stand up while I'm talking, and then I'll sit down again. So he would give a feel, a musical feel to something. And the first time that we wrote anything for a theme park attraction was we were invited to come down to a little room. Actually, it was in a sound stage, and they had mocked up a little tropical room, and we didn't know what we were going to. They said, we're having a meeting down here, and the music started. There was some music started, and lights went on, and all of a sudden orchids were singing, and birds were coming down out of the sky and singing. Let's all sing like the birdies sing. And this incredible thing was going on in this tropical room with all these mechanical, incredible things, tiki torches chanting hugga bugga, and all that type of thing. And rain coming down, and it was all over. We all were sort of like stunned. We said, "What in God's name is this?" You know, we didn't know. And so again, Walt looked right at Bob and myself and said, "You're going to write me a song that's going to explain all this." So we said, what is it? It's called the Enchanted Tiki Room. And the Enchanted Tiki Room, that's a good word, tiki. So he said, "But we have to have something that explains this." So I was looking around, I said, "There's a cockatoo there, and there's parrots." Parrot, if you don't have any parrots. So Bob and I were looking, he said, "A parrot could be the master of ceremonies." Immediately Walt said, "We'll have 4 parrots. We'll have a Dutch parrot, a French parrot. Now, what kind of a song are you going to write me?" So it's a tropical room. Why don't we write a calypso, which is tropical. That's right, calypso, tropical, and the 4 parrots are going to sing it. And when do I get it? I need it yesterday. So, it was one of those things we said, right, Walt, we'll think of something. And tiki's a good word, so we'll play with the word tiki. So we sat down in our little room at the studio and came up with this, which has been playing for about 48 years now. Welcome to our tropical hideaway, you lucky people, you. If we weren't in the show starting right away, we'd be in the audience too. Everybody in the tiki 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 room, in the tiki 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 room. All the birds sing words and the flowers croon, in the tiki 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 room. And that was the very first audio animatronic song.